Maya Collins had been working at Titan Games for nearly 5 years, climbing the ranks to become a department director. She was sharp, creative, and fiercely independent. But in her free time, she escaped into the virtual world of Shadow Realm Online, a fantasy MMORPG where she played under the alias Nyx Raven. There, she had a gaming partner, Stormwarden, a man whose deep, velvet voice sent chills down her spine every time they strategized together. What Maya didn't know was that Stormwarden wasn't just some random gamer. He was none other than Logan Pierce, the elusive and powerful CEO of Titan Games. Logan Pierce had built Titan Games from the ground up, turning it into one of the most successful gaming companies in the world. As CEO, he was brilliant, ruthless in business, but guarded when it came to his personal life. Office romances, socialite entanglements, not interested. His one true escape was Shadow Realm Online. In that world, he wasn't Logan Pierce, he was Stormwarden, a fearless warrior with steel in his hands and freedom in his heart. And always by his side, Nyx Raven. She wasn't just another player. She was sharp, tactical. She had a way of seeing angles no one else did. She made him laugh, made him think. And late at night, when the battles were over, they talked. About everything. Dreams, ambitions, the frustrations of corporate life, though never with too much detail. A connection sparked between them, unspoken, but undeniable. But neither of them dared question it. After all, it was just a game, right? Maya's usual routine at Titan Games was disrupted the moment an urgent email hit her inbox, a major security breach. Player data had been compromised, the trust of millions, now hanging by a thread. The company went on full alert. Executives scrambled, departments panicked. Maya was tasked with crisis messaging, balancing transparency with calm, making sure players didn't feel abandoned or betrayed. Meanwhile, Logan faced the storm head-on. Investors were livid, board members restless.
Titan stock was plunging fast.
Investors were livid, board members restless. Titan stock was plunging fast. Legal threats loomed, media pressure built. Every hour they didn't have answers, the damage grew. The future of Titan Games was no longer a sure thing. And Logan knew, if they didn't fix this fast, everything he built could collapse. That night, Maya logged in to Shadow Realm Online, craving a distraction from the chaos at work. Her avatar, Nyx Raven, met up with Stormwarden in their usual hideout, a quiet cliffside outpost with a view of the digital moonlight. Stormwarden: rough day? Nyx Raven: you could say that. Major crisis at work. My company suffered a massive security breach, and it's a mess. Stormwarden: same here. Leadership's scrambling. It's my job to keep everything from falling apart. Nyx Raven: sounds like you work in the corporate world too. Any chance you're dealing with a stubborn CEO who refuses to let anyone in? Stormwarden: something like that. He's trying, though. Big decisions to make. Nyx Raven: well, tell your CEO that trust matters. He needs to rely on his people more. Stormwarden, smirking tone: I'll be sure to pass that along. Logan couldn't help but smile behind the screen. She had no idea she was talking about him, and he had no idea she was part of the very team trying to save his company. Two people, two voices, offering comfort from opposite sides of the same storm. And neither of them had a clue. The next morning, Logan led a high-stakes executive meeting, his voice calm, but the pressure behind it was mounting. Maya sat quietly at the long conference table, her eyes scanning the crisis notes on her tablet, trying to stay centered. And then she heard it. A voice, deep, commanding, chilled, but strangely familiar. Her eyes flicked up. Could it be Stormwarden? No, that was impossible. Meanwhile, Logan felt it too. One of the women in the room had spoken, her tone sharp, articulate, and hauntingly familiar. Maya? No, it couldn't be. Not Nyx Raven. They both dismissed the thought. There was no way. Their virtual friend could be sitting just across the table in real life. As if the security breach wasn't enough, a second issue exploded onto their radar. The new patch, meant to fix the breach, had backfired. Thousands of players were now locked out of their accounts. Social media erupted. Hashtags accusing Titan Games of incompetence were trending worldwide. Investors were growing restless, players were furious, and legal teams? They were already drafting lawsuits. Titan Games was spiraling fast, and time was running out. Maya stayed at the office late into the night, driven by instinct and frustration. The engineers were brilliant, but they were looking at the crisis from a purely technical lens. She saw something different. This wasn't just a security issue. It was a user experience failure, and she knew exactly how to fix it. She rewrote the login protocol, designed a streamlined re-authentication flow, and implemented a flexible lockout recovery system. Simple, effective, elegant. By morning, she had a solution. She walked straight into Logan's office, no hesitation, laptop in hand. "Maya, I know how to fix this." "Logan, I've got my best engineers on it, Maya." "Maya, with respect, they're looking at it from the wrong angle. This isn't just back-end, it's experience. People feel locked out, ignored, helpless. This solves both the problem and the emotion behind it. Logan, show me." Clear, thoughtful, efficient. She anticipated every question before he could ask it. She wasn't just smart, she was extraordinary. "You're right. Let's do it." For the first time since the crisis began, Logan felt like the company might survive. And strangely, it was because of her. For the next 48 hours, Maya was everywhere. She worked alongside the security team, coached the UX designers, even wrote part of the patch documentation herself. No task was too small, no hour too late. Logan watched her from a distance. There was no ego in her approach, just dedication, precision, clarity. He'd worked with plenty of talented people before, but this was leadership. The patch went live late Friday night, and within hours, players started regaining access. Social media posts shifted from outrage to relief. Apologies were issued. Reputations slowly began to mend. By Monday morning, the lawsuits were paused, the board was calm, stock prices began to climb again, and Titan Games was safe. "Logan, you really are something else, Maya." "Maya, I just did what needed to be done." Logan looked at her in a new light, not as an employee, not just as a problem solver, but as someone he trusted, maybe even admired. And that terrified him. That night, the digital world felt different. Nyx Raven stood beneath the shadow of a pixelated tree, watching moonlight shimmer across a virtual lake. Storm Warden arrived seconds later. Neither spoke at first. The air between them was thick with something unspoken. "Storm Warden, you were quiet today." Nyx Raven, "It was a lot." Storm Warden, "Same here. Things at work are finally calming down." Nyx Raven, "Mine too. And I've been thinking. Maybe we should meet." Storm Warden didn't answer right away, but his heart was racing on the other side of the screen. "Storm Warden, I was thinking the same thing." It was bold, risky. But the truth was, they were no longer just gaming partners. They were something more, and hiding behind usernames and avatars wasn't enough anymore. They agreed to meet at a quiet cafe downtown. No usernames, no armor, just the truth. The cafe was warm and quiet, tucked away from the city noise. Maya arrived first, heart pounding. Every step toward the door felt like a question she couldn't answer. She scanned the room, and then she saw him. Logan Pierce, sitting at a table in the corner, dark jacket, familiar posture, eyes locked on hers. Their eyes met, and in that instant, everything fell into place. "Maya, you?" "Logan, you." It was all there. The voice, the presence, the connection that had always been real, even when they didn't know it. He stood, slowly, and took a step toward her. "Logan, I've been falling for you this entire time." Maya smiled, eyes shining with realization. "Maya, then stop thinking and kiss me." And he did. Slowly, surely, like he already knew her, because deep down he always had. Their worlds, digital and real, had finally collided, and in that moment, nothing else existed. And so, A game that started with avatars and adventure turned into something neither of them expected. But this love story? It's just getting started.
Thanks so much for watching Maya and Logan's story. If you enjoyed it and want to see a part 2, let me know in the comments below. Should we continue their adventure or maybe even start a new story? Your feedback will really help us shape what comes next. Thanks for being part of it.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any stories. Love is loading, and trust me, you'll want to see what happens next.